Welcome to the Build Vibrant Health podcast. My name is Mary and I have Tommy Ray here. So excited to have you on to talk about urine therapy today.
Hell yeah, my favorite subject.
You, I think, the first person that told me you drank your own pee. And there's been many people since, but you were the OG.
Cool.
And I think also the person most excited about it.
Yeah.
So I wanted to have you on to just talk about your experience and what got you started.
Well, thanks for having me on. I'm like honored, and I'll take that as a compliment for sure. Yeah, what got me started is I'm one of my favorite like truther people, Santos Bonacci. I heard him talk about it on one of his shows, and I was like, yeah, that kind of makes sense. Like the body is divine, and why wouldn't the body have like a mechanism to heal itself just built in, like a car, like let's say you have like a Ferrari, and it's like a 2040 Ferrari. It's like a Ferrari from the future. There would be like functions on it that we like didn't know how to use. Like think about having Bluetooth in like 1995. Like what's Bluetooth? You know what I mean? And it's like the human body is more divine and more perfect than any car. So obviously it's going to have functions that we don't even know about, like organs we don't even know about and abilities. So anyway, I theoretically was like, okay, yeah, that makes sense. Cool. And I just forgot about it and put it on the back burner. But then I think it was like 6 months later, he did a whole stream on it, pun intended stream. And it was called the Manna from Heaven Urine Therapy. And it was just 2 hours of like hardcore info. It was like pure gold. And I recommend everyone to check it out.
Pure gold, was that a pun too?
Exactly.
Yeah.
Because there's gold ormus in it, and we can talk about what's in urine. And that was it. So that was a question, like, what was it? So it was like, I was like, yeah, this is cool. I had already made up my mind that I was going to do it. And then his guest on the show is like, I have a list here of everything that's in urine. And then as soon as he read that list, I like paused the video and I like went and I just started doing it. And I never looked back. It's been 2 years. And what was on the list, he was like, what's in urine? He's like, DMT, stem cells, urea, B12, every cell salt, every vitamin, every mineral. It's structured water. It's alkaline. It's made by you. It's for you. It's like your own, like Martha Christie's book, Your Own Perfect Medicine.
It's like homeopathic medicine.
Yeah. And it's true biofeedback. Oh, biofeedback. It's like, okay, that's a machine. And I'm not like against it, but I'm saying like the real feedback loop is biological feedback of the urine going through. And the main issue with this whole topic is the mind control, the parasite mind control. It's a waste product. Everyone that is listening to this, every human being has already drinking urine. You've already drinking urine for 9 months. You drink urine. It's called amniotic fluid. Urine is amniotic fluid. So if you've already drank urine for 9 months as a baby and grew from like nothing to a beautiful baby, what's the issue now? You've already done it. You know, it's 99%. It's like 99 point something percent amniotic fluid. Percent literally is urine. Of course, with all the stuff that we eat, it does make it not taste as good sometimes. And so like just beginner information, like if you drink beer or coffee, generally you probably shouldn't drink those things in the first place, but it's not going to kill you. But if you do drink beer or coffee, it's not going to taste good. So if you want like a real good tasting urine, you know, maybe eliminate those.
And what's a good tasting urine?
It just tastes like water. It just tastes like water.
Okay.
Coconut water or water.
But so your diet is completely different than say like a standard American diet.
That's the other misconception is even if you're on a steady diet of fentanyl, meth, and McDonald's chicken nuggets, your urine is still, oh, well, I eat shit, so I can't have it. It's like, no, even if you eat shit, your urine is still going to cure you. And this is evidence with Dr. Sebi. And we were just talking about this, about the man, like all these people are on death's door, tumors, cancers, all the radiation, nothing's working. People, gonorrhea infested urine, it's like black. Dr. Sebi was like, stop eating and drink that black gonorrhea infested urine. And they drank it. And once it finally, because it still had the code, the healing code in it, it still had the healing code. If you get bit by a rattlesnake, if you drink your pee, no problem.
Well, if you drink your pee, or even if you pee on yourself, like if you got stung by a jellyfish or
we all saw that in Survivor in 2001 or whatever.
Right. So that's acceptable, but it's not socially acceptable to drink your own pee. But you know what? The thing has been my biggest block since meeting you, and every time I run into you, I think you mentioned urine therapy in some way.
Well, I like to poke at people, you know?
But my biggest block has been what you first mentioned of you detox through your excretions, through your bodily excretions. And so I've gotten tests done of like a mycotoxin panel, heavy metals, plastics, things like that, measured that through urine tests. So can you speak to how
even if
you're healing from something,
sure.
Like, is it actually beneficial? Is it
absolutely? So even if you have like a little bit of something in there, your waste is always going to come out the other end. That's why we have diarrhea. And that's why when you first start doing urine therapy, if you really do it, you're going to have like some intense diarrhea. Yeah. And it's going to come out that end. The overall benefit is like 1,000,000 to 1 outweighing any sort of possible negative effect you may think or perceive that you're getting. So even if they're testing and there's these things in it, okay, that's okay. Put it back in, because the other 99% of it is what your body needs. And every time you go through, it's more alkaline, it's more clearing, it's even more powerful and more potent. And anyone that does the looping thing where you just collect it and drink it, go through, they can speak to this. But the easiest way to kind of understand it is like let's say you have a bunch of fruits and you have Aquafina and you pour Aquafina all over the fruits and you try to wash them. The water that comes out is clear. You can't even, it's not dirty or anything. The Aquafina did nothing to clean those fruits. Now take urine or distilled water or anything that's like more alkaline and wash it. And then you wash it and it's brown. The water's like brown, right? Now multiply that alkalinity by like 10-fold and realize what's going through in your body. And then, like I said, when you start to have the diarrhea, when you start to have the detox symptoms, which may not be the most enjoyable, but it's good, like just like Bikram. I teach Bikram yoga, and it's like, sitting in a hot room and twisting your body and squeezing your thyroid for 90 minutes is not fun, and it's painful. And you need the pain because that's what's clearing out everything: pancreas, thyroid, kidneys, strengthening your spine. You think it's easy to go to the gym and lift weights? Every morning I drink my urine, and sometimes I don't like it. And I just, but it's like, that's life, Oh, I want everything to be easy.
Do you notice a difference in the taste of it based on what you're eating?
Absolutely. Yeah. If you eat too much salt, it's salty, So,
and is the first time you drink your urine in the morning, that's supposed to be the most beneficial,
right? That's supposed to be like the main, like all the stuff that you made in the nighttime. And I would argue, and from my own experience, because I drink my urine all day, every day, from my own experience, the best urines where it's like, whoa, I just got like a huge shot of like DMT or whatever. I'm feeling like way elevated and like really good, and like having downloads about business or relationships or collective stuff is definitely after it's been looped like many times, like 6-7 times, or the morning one. And then lastly, like, let's say you do a Bikram class or you do an intense workout, like at the gym, and you won't urinate for maybe like an hour afterward. But then when you get that, because of all that piezoelectric activity and whatever your body concoction it made based on the activities you just did, and then you drink that, and it's like, so the best ones for me are always after Bikram. Like every time I do a Bikram class, I like make sure I don't waste that one. I'm like, drink all that one, So
how much do you think you're drinking? So I have this juice.
I probably do like it on
16
average, 3 of those a day of urine on average.
3 of these, okay.
On average, yeah. I mean, some days it's more, some days it's way less. Like if I'm working and I don't have time, I can't run to the, and people who, I'm gonna grab this. People who are like, I don't give a fuck, excuse me, I don't care, but people who are like interested, you got to get one of these things. So if you ever see, it's like a little, yeah, exactly. So
did you buy it
I got it on Amazon or something. My girlfriend gave it to me, actually. We both do it and have them. So
got it.
And
did you turn her on to it, or is she already doing it?
Yeah. And like she says in the podcast we did on it, she said it's like the final barrier of mind control. And then for me, a lot of it has to do with like accepting your body and accepting that your body knows what to do, and that's the thing. It's all about, there's no causation physical. It's all beliefs. Everything's beliefs. Ooh, and it's like, if I hear them talking about a barf, right? Especially in Sedona, your beliefs, your imagination creates reality, I think we always hear that, but it's like,
it does, but we're also physical beings,
right?
Or spiritual beings having a physical experience.
But speaking to that, it's like you can see how how much a belief will just totally wreck someone's life or make it amazing. So if you have a belief that the body is inherently sinful or inherently bad, then this topic is totally disgusting. That's what your reaction is oh, gross, you know. I can't tell you how many people are like, you're disgusting, and it's like, no. Whatever you say is about you. It's not about me. You know what I mean?
Right.
So
ancient civilizations, this isn't a new thing.
right. It's very
right?
old. It's thousands of years old. There's a sutra called the Dhamma Tantra Sutra, and allegedly it's Shiva speaking to Parvati. And in it, he goes, if you drink, it's called Shivambu. If you drink Shivambu for 3 months, which is your urine, you'll cure leprosy. If you drink, urine Shivambu for 6 months, you will become very strong. If you do it for 8 months, you will become radiant like the sun. If you do it for 1 year, you will master the element of air or whatever. And it keeps going on until it's like, if you do it for 5 years, you'll connect with your higher self, the Atman, and you will be one with divinity. And then it's like, if you do it for 10 years, you'll escape the cycle of birth and death. And that's the first 50 scriptures. There's like 100 scriptures in it. And then the last 50 scriptures is all these weird recipes for if you have this ailment, then mix your urine with this ginger juice. Or if you have this ailment, then you mix your urine with holy basil and a mango and this. And it's like really interesting. It's so Ayurvedic and just way cool. And it's in all of these recipes, there's like probably 20 different recipes, and it's mixing urine with different herbs, which is like really freaking cool. Super in my view. Yeah.
So actually that leads me to a question for someone who wants to get started and do this, and they're like, maybe they're turned off by the idea of drinking their own pee. Is there something they can mix it with to make it more palatable?
Whatever you want, coconut water or nothing, or you can even just like every morning, just to get in the habit, collect it. And you can start, like if you have eczema, cure your eczema today and just put it on your eczema. It'll be gone in an hour.
Yeah.
Like,
do you ever bathe in it?
I definitely, when I go on really long hikes and I'm getting like roasted,
maybe I could put on my face.
Yeah, I'm not gonna use any weird sunscreens, but I definitely, it's like the best sun shield ever. And my girlfriend is like, she's like a supermodel and she has perfect skin and she uses it, for sunscreen and everything. And that's actually been a long known little trick for certain beauty people, is they age urine and at night they rub it into their skin on their face, and then in the morning they'll wash it off. And this is what Maybelline, CoverGirl, all these people are doing, all these skin models. They're already doing it. And the other thing is, like I said, you were already in urine. Why do you think a baby's skin is how it is? And
it's super soft.
Because they're in amniotic fluid, they're in urine. And the other thing is, like I said, urea, CoverGirl, all these skincare products, what's in it? There's urea is in it. Urea is in it. Do you know where they get urea? They get it from human urine from porta potties at like festivals.
Yeah.
See, right? And that's our first time, like, ew, but it's like, okay, well, all these people.
Porta potty doesn't seem super sanitary.
Sure. But ultimately urine is alkaline.
Separated.
I'm just saying they get it from it's from men's urine, because there's the urinal one, and then there's like where you take a shit, So they collect it from the ones that have the urinal and they sell it. And the other way they get it is through if you want to, all you vegans out there, if you want something to get active about, then you really get into activism for the horses that they are hurting. They have these thousands and thousands of horses all hooked in.
Heard about that.
It's really evil. It's really, really, really evil. And they farm the horses for their urine. And then they use that, because we can't figure out urine therapy. We have to abuse all these horses and take their urine and then put it in our skincare products, basically. And ultimately, urine therapy is totally a karmic thing. Like, there's just certain books that you, depending on where you are in your journey and what you have to figure out, you're not going to, that's not even going to be in your field. You're not even going to be able to touch urine therapy. Some people, depending on like what core beliefs you have. So ultimately, everything should come back to the self and like, what do I believe? Do I believe that the body is inherently sinful because I'm like really Christian or whatever? Okay, well then that's something that needs to be like sorted out or like ironed out. Your core beliefs, like what are core beliefs? And the biggest thing ultimately is like invisible beliefs that we got from Nickelodeon and the Disney Channel and, you know, whatever, the music we listened to when we were kids and the video games we played and our mom and dad and blah, 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 blah. It's like it's like programming. We don't even remember it, you know?
Well, and I think, I mean, before I was coming here, as I was on my way, I was thinking, what are the preconceptions that I have
It's a waste product.
about
Yeah.
it, that it's a waste product, and like you wash your hands really well after you go to the bathroom.
When
so,
that's actually more disgusting than using urine, actually, you know, because of all the fluoride and all the shit that's in
and
tap
using
water.
antibacterial
Yeah.
soap and all this
Right.
stuff. So part of it does go back to how we're conditioned and how knowledge is being presented.
It's mostly conditioning, you know, and that's like everything. It's like if you believe that we played golf on the moon, there's something there like that. That's a belief. We played golf on the moon. That's a belief. Or Muslim people did 9/11. Okay, that's that has a consequence. There's no causation physically. All causation is in your imagination and in your beliefs, which is the imagination. So which are beliefs. So it's like, what do you believe? That's why it'd be really beneficial to like, I believe this and this and this, and like actually take an inventory. And even if you would do that, that's still not attributing or accounting for all the other invisible beliefs that surround those that are even deeper. So a lot of it has to do with, you know, doing work on yourself and becoming aware and expanding your awareness, like Dispenza and Bruce Lipton. Have you read Bruce Lipton's Biology of Belief before?
I have. It's a really good book.
Remember in Biology of Belief where he talks about the cell and how the cell, the more awareness the cell gets, the one thing that it does is it increases its survivability. So it's able to survive. And a lot of people go to Bikram and they think it's about, or yoga, and they think it's about getting a nice ass or health or something. And it's like, sure, on like a very low conscious level, but as you start to really see it and you get into the esoteric parts of certain yoga practices, it's all about awareness. So when we say go to Savasana and you're like doing this, when Savasana is heels touch, toes fall open, arms by your side, chin tucked, look at the back wall, keep your eyes open. We're not saying that just for no reason. We're giving you something to practice using your awareness on. So the body's like a little micro. So if you don't have awareness over something in your body, that translates to the fact that you're not aware of codependency. You have major codependency issues, or you have addiction. You have major addiction issues and you are not aware of it. Or like violent communication, like you communicate in a way that is like very toxic and you are not aware of it. And that literally translates to the fact that you can't lay in Savasana like a stick and you have to be like this. I swear to Jesus Christ, that's what it, or whatever, Allah, Krishna, I promise you that's what it is. And so with these practices, all we're doing is we're just getting awareness of our body. So it's not that your yoga teacher is rude or mean. It's that it's helping you. Here's this strong like stake in the ground and it's helping you to push up against this thing because we're like that and we want to become straight and firm and like become aware and expand our awareness. Does that make sense?
It totally makes sense.
So that's why I left Bikram. And again, like I said, like if there's certain things like codependency, addiction, violent communication, it's like there's certain things that are just like not going to come in your field at all. You know, you're not going to, because you have a belief about money, you're not going to go to the local juicery and spend $13 or invest $13 on a juice for your health because, well, I save my money and I drink a Coke. You know what I mean? It's because of what you believe, right? And I could talk about urine therapy forever, and it goes into every area of life.
Yeah,
you know?
No, it does. And I mean, if you are investing in your health, if you're paying $13 for carrot, pineapple, ginger, turmeric, orange, lemon, if you're paying $13 for this, it's an investment in yourself, and just it has a trickle down effect on
every level because the body's a micro.
If I'm drinking this as opposed to like a steak every night for dinner, my urine's gonna taste a lot better. Do you eat meat, by the way?
I do. I eat meat like once every couple of months. I'll just be balanced. It's like I don't think meat is the best thing, and I don't eat it all the time. But it's like.
So what does your diet look like every day? Like if you like, what did you have today?
Well, let's talk about the juice because this is. Remember how you were like, well, what about people who can't do urine? You know what? If you can't do urine, totally understand. Guess what you can do? distilled water / freshly juiced juice that you just juiced. Because why is urine so, other than the fact that all the stuff that's in it and that it's plasma and blah, 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 right?
Stem cells.
Why, and stem cells, right? That's great. And that's a whole benefit over here. But what is the main reason why it's good? The main reason why it's good is that it is distilled water. What is distilled water? Distilled water, right, is you cooked burning the water, and then it rises as a steam, and now it's active. It's turned into that steam form, and then it collects in a vat as little drips, and then it drips down, and then now you have that distilled water, which is used in alchemy. Once you drink that distilled water, it's active and it's alive. And that distilled water is the thing that will start to clear and clean things out of your body, because it's like living.
So you're saying that's what urine is?
That's what urine is. So if you can't do urine, you can drink. All you have to do is juice your own juice every day. Or if you collect the rain or the dew, or, from the weather. And finally, a raw cow milk that you milked. Or goat milk, but from the animal.
From Interdependence?
Yeah. So I'm saying is, like, if you can't do urine, that's totally fine. All you have to do is distilled water, and you're basically going to get the same punch. You're going to get obviously a little bit way more benefits from urine.
Yeah, but you're not getting all the minerals and
true, exactly,
that your body needs. So
right.
That's
but I'm just saying, but I'm just saying though, and it's like, but if I can just turn someone on to distilled water and they do that, that actually might clear enough out where they can get to the point where when urine therapy is brought up, they actually are able to even tolerate it, and they're able to go there and even think like that, because there's gates. I mean, gatekeepers, like, you're a gatekeeper. Everyone that does a podcast is a gatekeeper. Fox News is a gatekeeper, and we're farm animals in gates. So there's the goats over here, the Republicans, the Democrats are in this gate, and then the people that are behind this, that are in the media, like and so at least just getting out of that pig pen and into another place, at least you are even open to the next thing. Because don't ever think that you're not a slave. We're all slaves.
It took me 5 years, 2000. I really started dialing into my health and looking at alternative measures in 2017. So what's that?
7, 8, 9 years. Yeah. 6, 7 years. For me, my thing started in 2015.
And it took me until this year to be open to something like urine therapy.
And it doesn't even matter if you don't do urine therapy, who cares?
Right.
For me, my message is not urine therapy. I can talk about 1,000,001 things on my podcast, which I do. But if I were to boil it down to anything, it's literally morality and integrity and the conscience. Because as long as the individual has a connection and is a living man or a living woman, and they're listening to the little voice inside, not that it's like talking, but just a feeling. It's not a voice, it's a feeling that basically always help make sure that you never violate anyone. And not only that you don't violate, but that you always act in integrity in an active, positive way as well. Like, I need to go to Bikram.
Well, integrity, but also authenticity for your own being. And
you can't have authenticity without integrity, right?
They both go hand in hand.
And so anyway, like, if you can't do urine therapy, if you can just have integrity and listen to your conscience and what really is going on deep down inside, then you're good. If your conscience is telling you, like, don't drink urine, then it's better for you just to listen to your conscience, you know? That's the main thing, because you don't want to have intuition. Same
your
thing.
Body's intuition.
I use the word intuition and integrity interchangeably.
Okay.
If you have intuition, it's because you listen to your conscience. I'm sorry, intuition and your conscience. If you say and vice versa.
Okay. And I found as you clean your physical body and as you do things to detox or sweat or move or be in the sunshine, like today I spent 4 hours at the river just laying by the creekside on a rock listening to the water. And doing things like that, we open ourselves up, and we can deepen and strengthen our body's intuitions, that we do know the next right step.
Exactly.
Like what to do in our life, whether that's our relationships or the food that we're eating or the next protocol that we're following or whatever, how we're showing up in life. We're able to then be connected to everything around us on a deeper level.
And we have the same, we do the same thing. I go every day almost to the creek, and I just get naked in the sun, and I get burnt by the sun.
Yeah.
And then I go in the water and cool off, and then I go back and then I drink some urine.
Yeah.
And
You're a little less red than I am though.
yeah, wipe the urine. But
I miss that stuff.
it doesn't even matter.
Yeah.
That's the thing, is like none of these things really matter. None of it matters.
Yeah.
It just matters that you have integrity in that what are the fruits of your life? Like Jesus says, like, you'll know them by their fruits. Okay, well, what are the fruits of your life? Are you miserable?
And speaking of
You know.
Jesus, do you really think he fasted for 40 days and 40 nights, or he had to be doing urine therapy?
Well, the whole thing, I mean, yeah, like, I think Jesus is the Son, S-U-N, but if there was a Jesus, like, I've done upwards of 5 days on nothing, not even water. If I, not even urine, nothing at all.
Okay.
If I could go back, I would hit myself in the face and be like, drink your pee, damn it. Because that's something I talk about in the other episode I did with my show was, if you want to fast, good for you. Like, that's showing some true dedication and some grit and some willpower. But, we're all about like biohacking and getting the most bang for our buck, right? So if you really are into that, I highly recommend never water fast or dry fast, but always fast and exponentially increase those benefits and do urine while you're doing
And
it.
just loop.
I'll never, right.
How long have you done a urine therapy fast?
3 or 4 days.
Okay.
And I
what
was
benefits do you notice?
super psychic.
Yeah.
Feeling joy, just deep joy, complete peace. And that's really why I recommend everyone read Man's Higher Consciousness by Hilton Hotema. It's from the 60s and the 50s. And it's a book about breatharianism. And I'm not going to talk about breatharianism that much. I'll just touch on it. But when we get into he basically starts the book off, man degenerated from a breatharian to a liquidarian. And then he went from a liquidarian to a fruitarian. And then he went from a fruitarian to a vegetarian and fruitarian. And then he went from a vegetarian to a carnivore. And then he went from that. And then I added this. He went from that to Circle K gas station food. And then he went from that to like meth. You know what I mean? Yeah. So it's like where, and it's just like, so where are you? Where are we? And for me, I like the less I eat and the more just like liquids I have, like the better, the higher I perform. And with that being said, I do want to say that now that I've gone back into the world and I'm waiting tables again. And now that I'm doing this, I am taking on a lot of energy from people. So if you're someone who is not able to go be a freaking yogi in the Himalayas, that's easy. You can be a urinitarian or a fruitarian or a liquidarian. That's no problem. But if you're customer service or taking in on this energy, it's like that's why we eat. We eat physical things, and then it like absorbs the weird astral energy that we got on us, and then we like get rid of it.
Well, and you're expending a lot more energy if you're waiting tables than.
Yeah. And I'm not saying I even eat more. I'm almost eating less, but I do see that eating is really unnecessary and mostly just an addiction and a psychic defense and something that makes us feel grounded. And unless you're comfortable floating up into the infinite, and being a real psychic and getting insights that you don't necessarily want to have those insights. It's like, it's almost like dying. It's pretty intense.
Yeah, I've noticed that the more liquids I eat, especially if I'm eating like 80% fruit and a lot of juices, that the dreams that I have and the intuition, especially things around death, are like very extreme.
It's like, because you just said that 10 minutes ago, it's like, we're here to be physical, either it's very pleasurable to eat an orange. Or to sit down and have.
Well, and it's everything. It's colorful. It's colorful for a reason, because our bodies, our eyes are visually drawn to that. Why do you think like McDonald's or Taco Bell or these foods choose bright colors?
Yeah. And the colors of the chakras that you're lighting up, like these ones. And the other thing that what you just said behind what you just said is actually implying design. So again, belief systems. If you don't believe in a designer or a creator or God, it doesn't matter what you call it. It's like, who cares? You may as well just take your drugs and watch your Netflix and play your video games and make money and that's you know what I mean? But if you do believe in a creator and you do believe in design and that everything has a function in your body and you don't just take organs out for no reason, they have a purpose, then you'll realize like, oh, fruits are like hanging where humans can get them, and they're colorful and pretty and they taste good, and there must be some weird design here. Whereas, I'm not against eating the animal per se, but it's like, to get the animal, it's like you've got to go.
Well, it's dead. It's
You've
not
got-
life
right.
force, energy.
And you can even argue that even that deadness of the animal is way more alive than Cheez-Its
Oh, for sure.
or whatever.
Well, there's
right?
actually minerals and nutrients and things that your body
That's why I'll eat a steak.
The cheese, it's not even food.
It's not
cheese,
food.
it's food like substance. It's not
And that's why I'll eat a steak like once in a blue moon, like really rare.
good quality.
Sure, yeah. And I'll chant Hare Krishna, and I used to be really against it. Like I was really, but in my life I've learned to just like, okay, if most of the time I'm like not even eating anything and I'm just having like a little bit of juice here and there. Like today I've had nothing. And I do that every day.
I think it's important to listen to your body. And
Right.
I think that's what essentially what you're saying is you're listening to your body's own intelligence.
Mhm.
I was raw vegan for almost an entire year, and it served me really well during that time. And it helped my body shed a lot of layers. It gave me so much energy back that I hadn't had in years. And most recently, since December, I've been drinking raw milk and honey almost daily. And that has been like, my body craves it. My body
Totally.
has been craving raw milk and honey. And then there's some days where I pulsate and I don't want it. And I had fish 2 nights ago. I had amazing mahi and it was wonderful.
good.
And it was like super juicy and really good. And it had toasted, we put toasted sage on top of it. Or was that basil? It was basil. But
next time invite me and Elizabeth, we'll come.
Yeah.
That's fun. And like the other thing too is that signifies a relationship with nature. If you are so tuned in that you have bees that are like your friends and they like share some of their honey with you, that's a way higher consciousness than someone who's eating the Cheez-Its. Or if you have a connection where you love the cow and you protect the cow, and the cow, you get the milk from the cow and it also is enough to feed its babies, everybody wins.
Right.
And you're in this wonderful, and that's what the Krishna is all about. The main things with Krishna is cow protection and God consciousness. And that's from my old path, like that's from my past. I'm not really a devotee anymore, but there's so many gold nuggets in Krishna consciousness. And that's why I never gave up the raw milk or honey, because it's obvious that we're supposed to exist with the animals and be friends with them and like cooperate with them and not just be like, no, because even the most religious,
I'm sorry.
no, I was going to say that even these people that live in the mountains that are dedicated to harming, like the Buddhist monks, Tibetan monks, they're Tibetan monks, even Tibetan monks who will not hurt any ants. You know what I mean? It's like they're the most hardcore spiritual people on the earth, basically. They still drink goat milk. So I'm not really into the vegan thing at all.
Well,
I've done it. I'm just saying, like, I'm not, because what do vegans have? Oat milk? We're gonna talk about like all these seed oils. You guys, you do an episode on seed oils, have you?
No, I have not. But
That's I hope if you do a seed oil episode, I'm tuning into that and I'm gonna share it with like all my friends. Because that's like the biggest hot topic right now is these freaking seed oils in everything.
Well, I think the term vegan and carnivore, keto, it's a label.
Right.
And just because you're vegan doesn't necessarily mean that you're healthy. If you're eating gluten-free, doesn't mean that you're healthy.
Right. Sometimes you're like way less healthy.
Right.
Sometimes.
Like I've talked to vegans who
haven't
been able to handle, they haven't been able to handle any sort of fruit or like barely any vegetables, and it was just like lentils and like coconut cream and whatever else they're eating. And if I'm going vegan, I'm going like raw vegan. I'm doing like all plants, like super high vibe, really high frequency foods.
Right. And I think everyone agrees that you look very radiant and very beautiful and shining eyes and like glowing skin. And I've always noticed that about you. So I think it's really freaking cool that you do have a health podcast, right?
Well, it's taken me 2 years to
because you're someone that I would actually listen to, right? And that's just like we're very similar, actually. Same thing with me is like I only have 6 episodes on mine, and it's like I've always been listening to these people my whole life, and it was like, wait a second, I'm the one that's running barefoot every day. I'm the one that's lifting weights and going to Bikram and having non-ejaculatory sex. Everyone should listen to that episode about how men should never do it. Like for me, for many years, never releasing my energy, it's like, I know that I'm doing it, and I know that I'm writing music, And it's immoral not to get a little bit to share your abilities and to talk yourself up. If you are doing good, you should talk about it. You should not go, oh, well, I'm not that great. I'm not doing anything. It's like, no, if you're really doing it and you are, you should share it. I'm doing this and it feels good. And you know what? Why don't you can try it too if you want, you know?
Right. Well, I jumped through a lot of hoops and went through a lot of things to regain my health. And along the process, wasted a lot of time and a lot of money and went through a lot of like, let me reach for this supplement and take like 15 supplements at a time and just let me go sit on this red rock and hope that it heals me. That's why originally me coming to Sedona was like sitting on red rocks, praying that the energy in the land would heal me. And it did in a way, but it wasn't enough to turn the corner on my health. So my hope with this is to give people tangible solutions and things that if this resonates with them, great. If you're in therapy or whatever we're talking about doesn't resonate with you, then listen to your body's intelligence. Maybe it's not right. But there was a moment this year where I was like, you know what? I met Tommy, I met Yeshua, I met like multiple people the past couple of years who all talked about urine therapy. I was like, I'm going to give it a shot. So I gave it a shot a month or so ago. And after this podcast, it's re-motivating me to try it again. But I feel like there was a certain time where this resonated for me, like last month. And I noticed there's so much energy in my body when I started the urine therapy. That was the biggest thing that I noticed was just so much energy.
You talk about benefits if you want.
Yeah, the benefits of it. But that's my hope for this podcast and any episodes that people can take what information resonates with them and maybe share it with a loved one or like someone suffering in their health.
Yeah, let's make the world better.
Yeah.
Let's bankrupt pharmaceuticals overnight. Like literally bankrupt them. I mean, you have to have a certain amount of critical thinking to realize that there is a monetary incentive to villainize your podcast, what I'm talking about, yoga, everything.
Well, I can't even post this on Apple. We were talking about that before. There's a reason, but yeah, so benefit. So I noticed a lot of energy. Day 2, I went for like a 3-hour hike and then I still had energy. So I went. And then,
welcome to my life.
And then I
every
day. Pickleball later that day. And I was like, this is so insane. It's insane, besides the energy, what other benefits?
Yeah, it's mostly an energy thing. And really.
And why do you think it gives you more energy?
Well, I don't know. Interesting. I mean, you're getting plasma therapy, you're getting hyper hydrated, you're like super hydrated.
And I actually realized it made me drink more water because then I noticed from my urine that when I was dehydrated, so I was like, oh, I need to up this. Like, I don't want to drink this if it's like golden color. I'd rather drink if it's
even bit more, but you should drink it even more if it is like that. But
but I'm just saying, like, I could tell that I was dehydrated.
Right. And usually what happens is after you've looped it like 3 or 4 times, whatever color it had is gone and it becomes like this super crystal clear, this white, or not white, but like, you know what I mean? It looks like water, like the most clear water. That there is.
I had a friend who just recently started and she had a butterfly rash, like autoimmune rash on her skin, and she had tried so much, and the only thing that made a shift in it was drinking her own urine.
Drinking urine and applying urine. For me, there was one day where I went to Bikram, I did barefoot running, and I went to the gym, so that's already a ton of shit right there, and I had nothing but urine the whole day. After that, I play music. I had a show in Jerome. I loaded the whole car with my drums and guitars, drove an hour or whatever, 45 minutes, unloaded it up the stairs, played this like amazing gig. Everyone's dancing and doing all this fun stuff, and then packed the whole thing. And then I just still had energy, and it's like, it was crazy. And that was like a full moon. I just felt so good, and I always feel good. And the one thing is if I drink it, I have a really good day one. It's like a psychic shield. It's like a defense. Things just roll off me. And the days I don't, I'm like a little more down in the dumps, The other thing is intuition, hardcore intuition, premonition, basically psychic powers, basically. And I don't care if that sounds like new agey and lame.
No, I think we all have psychic abilities. It's just, are you tapped into, and is your body clear enough to receive those messages? Like I think I started to say earlier, as I cleaned my body out, my eyes have gotten bluer and brighter, and my ability to have dreams and intuitions around what I should be doing in life has heightened. And I think that happens as you clean your physical vessel, you're better able to tap into your soul.
Etheric,
dimensions.
astral, mental, spiritual, it's all the
Right.
planes. And water exists on all the planes. So, you know, this little statue may not exist on all planes, but water does. Water exists on all the planes all the way up to source. So when you are constantly imbuing your body with sacred holy water, that is exactly what you need. Plasma, it's a plasma, like scientists don't even call urine. They call it a plasma ultrafiltrate.
Interesting.
So it's actually like a fourth phase of water. It's like plasma. So it's actually a type of fire. So on the platonic solids episodes that I just did was amazing, but it's like what density of the energy are you taking? So when you're eating like the Cheez-Its and whatever, that's like a very dense food that's like not full of any life force.
That's not
let's be real. The next level, right? The next level is, you know, let's say juices, like, so that would be, I actually have these here. So that would be like this, the cube, the earth, it's like very dense. And then the next least dense is the water, the icosahedron. So like your juice, that's equivalent to this, you know, it's like high vibe liquids. But when you get to the next one, which is the fire, the plasma one, that's even higher because that's the fire, the plasma. And so urine actually is you're like drinking fire or plasma, because they all have their counterparts. So we have like fire, water, earth. But then on the science side, we have plasma, liquid, solid, and then like with air and then a gas, right?
And so why don't we learn this in school?
Exactly, because the government gets for what it pays for, and the government doesn't want thinking critically minded people. They want mindless slaves that obey and that are smart enough to press a button, and that's it. They don't want you thinking too much. Go look at the ball game, go watch your Netflix, go play your video game, and just go look and think about the ball game and the men smashing into each other, dunking basketballs in McDonald's. That's all they want. And they get what they pay for. So that's why they don't teach it in school. Whereas, you know, you go to a Waldorf school or a classical school, you're like, you are literally a threat to society. You're a threat to all the other goats and sheep. You're like the goat that knows that it's a farm, and all the other ones, they don't know. They like don't know it's a farm, but you know it's a farm, so you have an advantage. And what does that mean? You get to live longer. You get more of an awareness. That's all it is just expanding awareness more and more and more. Anyway, it's a pleasure speaking with you.
Yeah, good to speak with you too.
Yeah,
Thanks so much for sharing and imparting.
Yeah,
your knowledge.
I love talking. I've always had good talks with you. If anyone, can I do my plug?
Sure,
my
yeah,
thing?
do your little plug.
If anybody wants to listen to my show, it's called The Sedona Podcast. It's not my show. It's me and my co-host, my girlfriend Elizabeth Hammerman. It's called The Sedona Podcast, and it's on Spotify. And I'll share the links below in the comment as well. Yeah, and then I also, if you guys want to listen to my music's called Magnetic Manly, and it's also on Spotify, and it's a lot of fun. Those are the two things that I would like to share. Spotify and then if you want to connect with me, the Instagram I'm using is two different ones. One of them is called secret.continents, and then the other one's called The Sedona Podcast on Instagram. The Sedona Podcast. Got it. I will drop those links below. Thank you so much for joining. Thanks for coming today. I feel like we could have a whole nother podcast on I'll be on again. Veganism. Yeah. And just I'll be on again or whatever. Conspiracies. I want to do conspiracy ones. Yeah. We have a lot of great conversations here. We're gonna cut this short, but thank you so much for joining. If you enjoyed this podcast, give us a follow and share with a family or friend.